Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, ahchyam Yahweh Shai, ahchyam Harakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, great most on the Ruel, and peace and citations to the elect of the nation of Israel, Yasharallah. All right, my brother, Mataza Lakam, he recommended me doing a lesson on this topic, man, on this Project Esther. Okay, that you see the date, all right, October 2024, all right, but they just put it in action just recently, a couple days ago, man. Okay, and I read the first 11 pages, and I got what I needed to get out of it. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna read the rest of it, just not in this lesson. I'm gonna do it off camera, in my free time. But I read the first 11 pages, and I also searched it up on TikTok, because and I seen other people break it down, explain it, which I'm gonna show y'all some of those TikToks. Okay, and then yeah, man, and then the plan, all right, their end goal, the way they're gonna the way they're the elites, Esau, all right, that rule the world, or the devil that the Bible speaks of, okay, the way he's gonna enact and run this plan, for lack of better words, goes with the it goes it reminded me of this, man. All right, the brother Mataza Lakam has a poster. All right, 'cause he has like 20 some odd posters, man. All right, signs. All right, that he takes out there, and I remember showing me one of these, and it stuck with me, on the elites. All right, the so-called Illuminati. All right, their plan for these end times to usher in World War III and the NWO. All right. Okay, and I remember him showing me a poster of Albert Pike saying this, man. All right, and this Project Esther, okay, to combat anti-Semitism. All right, and their plan to do so reminded me of what this man said. Okay, that the brother, my brother Mataza Lakam. All right, like I said, one of his posters. All right, and I remember him reading this to me and showing me. All right, I'm going to read the beginning. It says, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the adjuncture, all right, so caused by the adjuncture of the Illuminati between the political Zionists, we all know who those are, all right, the letter I country, the white and blue country, the white and blue flag, all right, false Star of David country, okay, and the leaders of the Islamic world, okay. So yes, is the Third World War, okay, must be fomented by taking advantage of these differences, all right, of the differences, all right, between the political Zionists, all right, and the leaders of the Islamic world, okay. Okay, so they're going to push, these elites are going to push those two parties, those two, lack of better words, teams, all right, narratives, all right, all the way until World War III, man, all right, just as World War II was the Axis powers and the Allied powers, all right, and search it up on Google, all right, what the Axis powers and what countries was part of the Axis powers and what countries was part of the Allied powers, okay? But World War III, which we're stepping into, okay, is going to be pushed, all right? The two teams, all right, is going to be the Islamic world and the Zionist world, okay? So those two narratives are going to be pushed, and that's what's being, that's the strategy that this devil is gonna use, okay, those two parties and narratives and sides to push his goal, okay, to weed out, all right, his enemies, okay, the elites' enemies, because we know what these elites, what they side with, all right, okay. He said this devil Esau, Edom, the elites of Esau, All right, they fund both sides of the war. Okay, okay, two wings of the same wicked ass dirty bird. Okay, and he sets up opposition. All right, he sets up his own opposition. Okay, so controlled opposition, for the lack of better words. Okay, so yeah, man. Okay, so he's gonna push pro-Palestinian narratives in the United States. That's why I've noticed on TikTok, because I'm on TikTok a lot, for media, up to date news, because it's not very biased. Okay, if you got your algorithm, personalized to yourself, okay, the media is not biased, and the things that I see on TikTok and that's allowed to even be put on TikTok is I'm like, dang, you're allowed to say that on TikTok, to be pro-Palestinian, to be anti. There's so much information and news and stuff and information coming out, all right, about the Zionists and the I people, the white and blue flag people, and and what they're doing over there towards the Palestinians. Okay, I'm like, damn, I'm surprised this information even got out. Is allowed on TikTok. I'm surprised the elites, all right, this devil, are allowing this supposed anti-Semitic, all right, information, all right, or rhetoric to even be said on TikTok. But after reading the first 11 pages of this project Esther, I'm not surprised. I'm like, okay, he's allowing this to happen. He's allowing people to choose or to see both sides. Okay, he's allowing the liberty, like it's explained and said, in this article, in this project, all right, in this this bill. It's not a bill, but all right, the elites are allowing and using America's liberty, freedom of speech, freedom to assemble and whatnot. Okay, freedom of religion and whatnot. They're allowing that to be practiced in America, so he could see who is anti-Semitic and who is pro-Semitic. And he's allowing people to practice the freedom of speech and freedom to assemble, freedom of religion to. So he's allowing people to do so, and to search out information and pick a side and to voice their opinion, so he could come down with great wrath and justify coming down with great wrath and putting you in a FEMA camp or unaliving you, all right, or kicking you out of society. So he's collecting all this data and information, and who's that he? Esau, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, the elites of this world who control the world. All right, dang, he's allowing these people, to do this in the states. Okay, their freedom to so he could label you and categorize you, so he could do whatever he wants with you, man. Or once he puts you in a category, he's gonna do this with you. If you're in this category, he's gonna do this with you. All right. So he's allowing these things. He's going to allow these things, and he is already, all right, allow people to choose and to see pro-Palestinian news and whatnot, and to allow them to voice their opinion. So he could just label you as a enemy of Semitism. All right. You're anti-Semitic, and you label you as a terrorist. Okay, and you don't want to be labeled that in America, man. All right, because you get no rights. All right, at all. Okay, once you're labeled and categorized as a terrorist in America, once you're labeled that term, then you are basically a non-human. You are basically an enemy of the United States, and what does the United States do to their enemies? All right, exactly. They do whatever they want with you, man, and you have no right, no matter what you say or do. It doesn't matter. Okay, you got no defense. Okay. So yeah, so Esau, the devil, the elites are allowing people's freedom of speech, okay, and religion, and to exercise their liberties, all right, to say whatever, believe in whatever and whatnot, okay, so he could label you as a theist and put you in these FEMA camps. That's why these FEMA, alligator Alcatraz, all right, all these Walmarts, all right, are changing, and they're going to be turned into FEMA camps, okay, concentration camps, okay, free labor, reducing the population, all right. So yeah, man, Esau, this is his plan to label you as a theist, okay, and to get you out of here and do whatever he wants with you, okay. So yeah, man. All right. So he's done his own little, he does a diligent search, man. See, look, the gray is pro-Palestinian, the blue is pro-Israel, okay. Pro-Palestinian, all right, is outweighs way more number in America than pro-Israel in America, all right. So what is the elites gonna do with these people in this bill? All right, they're gonna label you as a theist. All right, let me show you. I had a picture. Yep. All right, here it is. The introduction. All right, what is this page? Page 3. Okay. It says the introduction. Anti-Semitism in the United States of America is alive and spreading. Okay. All right. When it's really just people just being, not agreeing with Zionism. That's all it is. But Esau is he's gonna label you and demonize you by calling you something different. All right. Calling you anti-Semitic, which that's a very demonizing word. All right. You don't want to be called that, man. Okay. All right. Anti-Semitism in the United States of America is alive and spreading. Okay. Hamas's October 7th, 2023 theist attack in Israel laid bare existing anti-Semitism across the world. All right. See, so they're blaming it on Hamas. Hamas is the reason why there's so many anti-Semitism, and that we gotta get all these people. So they're gonna also label you as pro-Hamas, which is which is a setup group, a setup organization. All right, that was propped up and funded by Israel themselves, man, the Zionists themselves. All right, set up, propped up, controlled opposition. Okay, which are, at the same time pro Palestinian, man. Okay. It says across the world, including the United States, the virulently anti-Israel and anti-Zionist, okay, and anti-American groups, okay. So if you're anti-Israel and anti-Zionist, then you're also anti-American, okay, according to the elites, all right, according to their agenda that they're pushing, okay, their narrative and their plan to start World War III, okay. American groups comprising the so-called, okay, pro-Palestinian, all right. That's why it says so-called, because that's what they're going to label and name you, all right, and categorize you as, all right. If you say anything against Israel and Zionism, in these future days, months, all right, they're gonna call you pro-Palestinian. All right. Even if you don't even care about pro-Palestine, even if you don't care about Palestine, man. All right. Shoot, we'll be labeled as that. Us men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua will be labeled as pro-Palestinian because, hey, even though we don't give a damn about Palestine and Palestinian people, all right, we're we don't like Zionism, Israeli or Israel, man, for lack of better words. So I hope I don't get my video taken down. We're not with those people. We believe that they're not the true people of the Lord. All right, and thinking that way, all right, we are therefore labeled, all right, as anti-Semitic, all right. Which the funny thing is, to our defense of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, as men of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, towards our defense, we're Semitic ourselves, Shemitic, because it goes back to the name Shem, which means name, all right. Which the sons of Shem were Israelites, all right. Were Edomites, Moabites, okay. All right, the three sons of Noah was Ham, Japheth, and Shem. All right, so the Shem is the forefather of the Israelites, and we believe that we're the Israelites. Okay. All right. Esau, all right, the so-called white man. He's Shemitic too. So we're both Shemitic. Us black people, us Native American people, us Latinos, we're Shemitic too. So if you're against us, all right, you're anti-Semitic too, okay? So you having a problem with us believing, at least just believing or claiming that we're the people of the Bible, that's anti-Semitic as well. Us blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans believing that. If you have a problem with that, you're anti-Semitic too. Fun, yeah, ain't that a B word, you know? Oh, you're anti-Semitic because you're anti-Zionist. You're claiming that you're the people of the Bible, and we're not. It goes both ways, man. Because we're from the lineage of Shem. Okay, so this is the so-called pro-Palestinian movement inside the United States, which all right. So it's focused on inside the United States are exclusively pro-Palestine and more so pro-Hamas. So they're going to lump those together, those groups, pro-Palestinians, all right, those who sympathize with what's going on with the Palestinian people. So they're going to be like, so they're going to categorize you and label you as also pro-Hamas, okay, which is which is labeled right now and categorized as a T group, okay. So if you're pro-Palestine, it's like if you sympathize with the Palestinian people, all right, then you're going to be labeled as a T group here in the near future. TERRORIST. They are part of a highly organized global Hamas support network, okay, HSN, okay, and therefore effectively a all right, terrorist support network, because that's what the word says, terrorist. Okay, so exactly what I just said to you, man. So if you sympathize with the Palestinians here in the near future, and post and repost and save and information on TikTok or YouTube about sympathizing with Palestine and things against what the people of Israel are doing in the land right now over there right now, then you're going to be labeled as a terrorist here in the near future, man. Okay? Slack here. Give me a moment. Fuck you. But But yeah, man, that's all I'm gonna read out of the article. I'm gonna bring out some precepts. I'm gonna show you some TikToks first, and then some precepts, and end it off. So yeah, man. Be prepared. In the conclusion to this, my conclusion is, hey man, be prepared for a pro-Palestinian, Palestinian sympathism narrative to be pushed on even mainstream media, all right, social media, all right, TikTok, all right, alternative media, okay. So be prepared for that, man, and watch what you post, man, all right. Watch what you post and repost here in the near future, the next few months, because it states, I forgot where in here, in the next, there was the TikTok that I was going to show you. They said in the next 24 months, okay, this enactment is going to start, okay. This agenda is going to start. So I recommend you brothers search this up on heritage.org, the Project Esther, and read these 33 pages, man. All right. It's lucky, but yeah, man. Okay. And I read to you what Albert Pike said. What did he say? And when did he say? He said this a long time ago. All right. In the same narrative, and what he's saying, these words are coming to true today. All right. Okay. The NWO, the New World Order of Esau, Edom. All right, which he's running out of time, so he's trying to get this done quickly. So I'm gonna show you these TikToks.
You're quick. Not their current target. Remember,
Slug you. Where is it at, man?
8.
Some say Project Esther is worse than Project 2025, and most people still haven't heard of it. So here's what it is, what it's doing, and why it's dangerous. Project Esther was created by the Heritage Foundation, like Project 2025, and while it claims to fight anti-Semitism, it's really a blueprint for political repression. It redefines terrorism so broadly that peaceful protests, campus organizing...
And that's what Brothers in This Truth say, man. Us men of Yahweh Shemi Shai. We notice, all right, that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, paints a picture with a broad brush. All right, he does it on purpose so he could label and justify himself. All right, because that's part of his religion and his belief system. All right, he has to justify being wicked. All right, for him to be okay with being wicked, to come down with great wrath, to unalive you, to exercise his blessing, which is the sword. Okay, so he's gonna paint with the broad brush, man. All right, he's gonna try to group us men of Yahweh Shema Shai, all right, as anti-Semitic, so we could therefore put us in alligator Alcatraz in a FEMA camp, unalive us, okay, persecute us, kick us out of society, okay, and this is the main way that this devil Esau, all right, is going to persecute us, as the scriptures say he is. He's gonna persecute us falsely, okay. So the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to allow this devil to persecute us men of Yahweh Shema Shai. But the Lord is only going to allow him to persecute us falsely. Okay? And this is the way, man. This is how he's going to do it. He's going to call us something, label us, and group us as something that we're not. Okay? Because we're Semitic our damn selves, man.
And criticism of Israeli policy are all treated as national security threats.
Because the so-called Israelis, the Jewish people, okay, they're not the only Shemitic people on earth. All right, they're claiming they are, but they're not. So they're lying, man, when they're calling themselves, all right, not calling themselves, because they're not lying by saying they're Shemitic, because they are Semitic, but they're not the only ones, man, and they won't tell you that. They won't point that out, that they aren't the only ones, man. We are. Us blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are also Shemitic, all right?
It doesn't just target violence, it targets dissent. If you're speaking up for Palestinian rights, you could be branded as anti-American, or worse. The political act is being rebranded as criminal to erase political progress. And we're already seeing the consequences. Students at Columbia, Stanford, and UCLA are now under federal investigation, not for breaking laws, but for protesting genocide. Project Esther encourages stripping visas, surveilling students, and shutting down campus organizing, all through immigration law and bureaucratic language that hides the real goal: silencing opposition. They're not protecting anyone, they're punishing resistance, and the scariest part is, it weaponizes the very real pain of anti-Semitism to shut down real activism. Instead of confronting hate from white supremacist groups, the actual drivers of anti-Semitic violence, it redirects that fear towards Muslim students, black activists, and even Jewish.
You hear that? Black activist groups. All right? And who is labeled as black activist groups? Us Hebrew Israelites, man. Us men of ahchyam. They call us a black Hebrew hate group, which we're not all even. I'm not even black, but I'm a Hebrew Israelite, you know. Okay, so we're gonna be labeled as that too. So we're also gonna be lumped up into this as well, man. Okay, because that's who they're really going after, man. Esau, this devil, these elites are coming after us, men of ahchyam. Okay.
Organizations critical of Israeli policy. And if you think it won't happen to you, remember, repression never stops with one group. First they come for the protesters, then the organizers, then the students, then the professors, then the people who simply post their support on social media. They're already watching your feed, already building lists. If we don't speak up now, we'll all be silent by design. Some say
Gilead, they came for different groups, one by Esther saved her people. So wait. So there's this thing called Project Esther. And I just discovered this, and it's part of Project 2025. These people literally watched The Handmaid's Tale and thought, yeah, that's the instruction manual, and I'm not even kidding. So in the Bible, Queen Esther saved her people from genocide by a guy named Haman who wanted to wipe out all the Jews. Technically, it's a beautiful story about courage and standing up to power, right? Well, the Heritage Foundation, the same geniuses behind Project 2025, they're using the story to justify crushing pro-Palestinian protesters, deporting students, and silencing anyone who questions Israeli policy. They named their censorship project after a woman who literally spoke truth to power to stop persecution. These folks took a story about preventing genocide and turned it into a blueprint for selective persecution. It's like reading Romeo and Juliet as a guide to successful teen dating, or using 1984 as a government handbook. They watched Gilead on Hulu and said, ooh, sign me up, except instead of red robes, it's deportation orders. Instead of handmaids, it's silenced students. The theocracy is the same, just different targets. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not about protecting Jewish people from anti-Semitism. Real Jewish organizations wouldn't even partner with them. This is about weaponizing religious stories to justify authoritarianism. When the Heritage Foundation says they want to extirpate the influence of pro-Palestinian groups, they're not channeling Queen Esther, they're channeling Haman. And they're targeting Jewish Voice for Peace too. Jewish organizations supporting Palestinian rights are somehow part of their terrorist network. And when they use religious stories to justify oppression, that's not faith, that's fundamentalism with a marketing budget. And if you think you're safe because you're not their current target, remember, in Gilead, they came for different groups one by one. The Trump administration has already started implementing this playbook. Students getting deported for protesting. Universities losing funding for allowing pro-Palestinian speech. Faculty getting fired. Sound familiar? It should. It's literally right out of The Handmaid's playbook. Just with better lawyers. And the real Queen Esther would be horrified if it wasn't a fake story. She risked everything to protect the vulnerable from a man who wanted to wipe them out. These people risk nothing to silence those speaking up for the vulnerable. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking.
I want to show y'all one more thing before I bring out some precepts, man. Where is it at? Slovakia. In here it says that they're going to use the liberty. I stated it before. They're going to use the liberty of America's liberty and freedom of speech and whatnot, to see who's against Israel, man. Basically, who's against Zionism. I forgot where it was. see if I can find it. Means organized. Slocking Brothers. I think it's this next one. Strategy. I think it's in this introduction. Okay, yeah, I think it's right here. Let me see. Slovakia. Let me see if it's up here. I forgot where it was, man. Slovakia. I can't find it, man. It says in here that they're gonna use America's liberty, you know, the liberty of America, you know, your freedom of speech and whatnot, all right, against Americans, you know, to weed out the undesirables, man. Those that have a problem with Zionist, you know, Israeli movement, man. Okay. So I'm gonna bring out some presets, man. You know, Psalms chapter 10 and 5. I'm going to read to 10. Okay. Psalms chapter 10, verse 5. It says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Okay. And that's the devil, man. Okay. Okay. Here's 8. It says, he sitteth, all right, Psalms 10 and 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are proudly set against the poor. Okay. So this devil, these elites, you don't ever see none of these elites. You don't see no Rothschilds, no Rockefellers, or no affiliates, in the news, on TikTok, on social media, none of that, man. All right. And this bill, okay, this is not very many people talk about this, man. All right. Nobody's talking about this on social media, on TikTok. This isn't trendy. All right. Only for those who are awake and are focused and awake spiritually, man. All right. You got to do a diligent search to find this, man. Somewhat, and that's why it says, he sitteth in the lurking places. All right. So this devil is, while everybody's effing off in the world, doing whatever the hell they want, working their 9 to 5s, getting off work, partying on the weekends, on TikTok, doing trends and whatnot, being worldly, this devil, Esau, Edom, these elites are making plans, agendas, all right, to start World War III and to persecute you people, man. Okay. Lurking places of the villages, in secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. All right. So us masses, all right, us regular everyday old people, all right, we're viewed as poor people in the eyes of these elites. He lieth, verse 9, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. All right. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. Verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. All right. So he's going to humble himself by saying, by pushing a narrative of anti-Semitism, man. Okay. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. How dare you be against the most persecuted people ever, when they're really not. They're the opposite. All right. They persecute everybody else, All right. So as a lion secretly waiting for its prey, that's how this devil is, man. All right. He's planning his way to attack and unalive, and devour, as lions stalk their prey, they wait to the best possible moment when your guard is down. All right. He plans. All right. He focuses. His eyes are set on you, your every single little move. All right. He's thinking about your next move. All right. And that's how this that's what he's doing with plans like this, man. All right. Daniel 8:25, it says, and through his policy. All right. Is this not policy right here? Is this not what's going to be enacted? All right. And pushed in the next months. All right. Year or two. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. All right. By peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Okay. So the devil, he's going to be successful to an extent with his plans to persecute us. Okay. Just to destroy many. All right. Those that are against his NWO. Okay. And he's setting up the stage, his stage. Okay. But the Lord Yahushua, when he returns, he's going to upset all this, man. All right. The next verse 26, it says, in the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. Okay. And we're waiting, man. We're waiting for this to go full blown, man. Romans 16:18, it says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Hamashiach. All right. But their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. All right. This pertains, to the wicked of our people. But hey, This also applies to Esau, the so-called white man, the elites. Okay, all right, the elites of this world, man, because those are the ones who are coming up with this. Not Asians, not Muslims. Okay, this was manifested by white people, man. All right, which is the nation of Edom. All right, the elites of the nation of Edom. Okay, it says by good words and fair speeches. Okay, deceive the hearts, all right, the minds of the simple. All right, so people are gonna fall into this trap. All right, being pro-Palestinian, pushing pro-Palestinian anti-Semitic narratives and information in media, on social media, and on the internet, just for this devil to come down and justify himself by throwing you and locking you up in an alligator Alcatraz, a FEMA camp, or unaliving you, So hope this was edifying to you, like Slakia, for being long-winded, but hey, the spirit was hitting me, so shalom.